they have their opportunity to show their authority and hire faculty that can show their authority. And so that turned into a recommendation of, obviously, educators need to be trained up in digital tools, but they need to work on a digital brand for themselves because they are now becoming representatives of universities. But because social media and other ways of building a digital brand can make you a figure that students might want to come and learn from, then depending on what university you're at, that might interest them on where they're choosing to go. And also, I think a big discussion around this that had shared was that the lack of confidence around their ability to share on a topic that they don't know about. Like if they've just Googled it, well, students can do that too. And students are now seeing through that lack of authority and the lack of knowledge and thinking outside of the box. I think Evelyn had shared, bring in the expert, find ways. But in order to do that, you have to have that networking piece in your life. And a lot of educators lack that. Then last thing that we talked about is just and I love Evelyn's point here, was that learning centered versus a learner center type of model. And we put a definition here, but it's really about putting student learning and relationships at the center of educational design, not just the individual. It's the heart of what that learning centered design would be about. So there's opportunities to retool education tools and find ways similar to what Christopher was sharing. How do you foster the communities, but in ways that aren't just about design for the institution's benefit?
Thank you very much. That was fantastic. And we've got this here, so we can share some of these ideas after with the audience. Thanks. I would love to move to Gunjan now, please.
Sure. So we actually talked about the after experience. So what happens when students actually leave? And we zoned in on a small subgroup, the alumni, because there were lots of people in our group that were interested in the alumni network. As you can see, we identified quite a few threats. And I think the major one that came out as a threat was the alumni. If you don't have a really good alumni program set up, you're losing the opportunity of one of the biggest marketing asset that our university and that our institute can have. The opportunities that we identified was treating the alumni network like a subset of customers. So really going back to the basics and looking at your alumni and identifying customer personas or subsets of customer groups within alumni, because all your alumni will be on different journeys in terms of their employment. So they might be just 1 or 2 years in their employment, or 3 or 5 years into their employment. So identifying where they're at in their employee journey, and then catering programs from an alumni perspective to actually to meet their needs. So we talked about, there was also a lot of discussion about certain alumni coming from the lower socioeconomic backgrounds, in terms of probably them being one of the first ones to even go to a university or graduate. So how do you tailor your alumni programs to cater to those kind of subset groups? And the discussions were around making sure that they have basic skills, soft skills provided to them, just like interviewing techniques, or how do you do your CV? There would be a lot of opportunities that they haven't had that probably other subgroups have had. And then there was also a lot of talk about using technology, new technology, to connect with the alumni network, especially those who have been in their employment for 5 or 6 years. They would probably be more interested in short courses, and it's another way of bringing them back into the university and kind of making them stronger brand ambassadors.